It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 226 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and more chickens. More chickens! We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too. Don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly, Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Going with some classic breakfast blend today.
In the afternoon. Ha ha.
Oh my God.
So if you're not drinking Bright and Early's breakfast blend, you're missing out. Where should everybody go to get it?
brightandearlycoffee.com.
And use our code CWTCL15 for 15% off a bagged coffee. Get K-Cups on Amazon and follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious breakfast blend coffee and chat?
I am. But first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today.
Got new chicks in the coop? Start them off strong with Nutrena NatureWise Chick Starter Grower, packed with plenty of protein so your chicks can grow by peeps and bounds into healthy hens. Go to NutrenaWorld.com to learn more about NatureWise feed for your new chick crew.
Okay, as we're recording, my knee is up. It's up. My knee is up. It's wrapped. It's got icy hot on it. It's been iced, and I took ibuprofen.
That's like the 5-pronged approach to knee pain.
I know. We're getting old. We're getting old. Knee pain is not fun.
We are getting old for sure. Well, it's really, really nice. The past 2 days have been wonderful. I've been outside working in the garden, have the geese out with me. It's been really lovely, but I'm afraid we're going into the too hot, too fast and no spring. That always happens.
The other day, was it yesterday or the day before? It was super windy and chilly. It might have been not yesterday, but the day before.
It was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday.
It was cold.
Cold.
It was really windy. That wind will get you. And all the chickens had gone in kind of early. So I was like, is something kind of messing with them? Or is it just super windy and they want to get out of it?
But the temperature dropped. When that wind came up, the temperature dropped super quickly. Pete ended up turning on the heaters for the Nankins because they were all cold.
Of course he did, because it hit 30-something. So he's heater on.
That's right.
So, yeah, here it was really nice yesterday. Yesterday, I think, was the nicest day. And today I've been out. Now, as everybody knows, I do have the puppy, Rocky. So I am out between chickens and Rocky, the puppy. I am out a lot. A lot.
That's what happens when you get a puppy, man. Oh, they're cute, but they're high maintenance.
You know the weather conditions a lot. So
yes, you do.
He is now 3 months old, and we're almost there with potty training. He's still having a few accidents here and there, but he's just a baby, so he has to really learn it. We're buzzer training, so we're going to see how this goes. It might be fun.
Buzzer is hilarious because all the commands are in your voice.
They are. Listen to Mama, why don't you? Listen to Mama. So we do want to say thank you to everybody who came out last week or the week before when this comes out to catch us over at the mill doing some chick chats with Nutrena. Lots of fun meeting everybody and lots of fun meeting people who are so excited to start their flocks.
That was super fun. You're usually the one who has really bad chick fever, but I'm starting to get the chick fever antsies. But I'm not going to act on it. We are just going to get our ducklings, and that's it this year. Yeah, I found it particularly hard looking at those breeds, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were whispering to me, I got chick fever, and I'm like, I got a puppy, I got no fever right now.
Got no fever.
I'm drowning in puppy stuff, so I'm like, yeah, that's all I can handle. But it's kind of like you go there. I was so excited. There was one lady the second night. She was the best. Every time a breed would come up, she'd be like, "Oh, I want to get that one." if you're listening, that made my night. I was
That
so
was
happy
really-
for her enthusiasm.
That was really cute. I do have a little bit of bad news before we go on with the show.
What? I'm not preempted on this bad news. I don't like this.
No, you don't know. I always have a lot of plants on order because that's how I roll. Got a notice this morning that this year's apple trees were damaged and lost by USPS.
Not laughing because they're damaged and lost. If I would have talked to you this morning, I would have had the bad news. I know that.
Yes, you would have.
But we're recording today, so we didn't talk this morning.
The good news is Allie from Cummings Farm emailed me and she was able to find me those same 4 trees, but in some different sizes. So, and I got a refund since they're smaller.
That's good to know. I'm so happy for your apple obsession that's
Tragedy
happening.
averted.
Now, everybody doesn't really know, but for Holly's birthday, because of her apple obsession, I did get her dangling apple earrings and an Apple J. Crew t-shirt.
Absolutely. I love it. It's got apple varieties on the front of it. My bestie knows me.
I know. And on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a written review. It does amazing things for the growth of our show. While you're there, hit that subscribe button because you never want to miss this fun. And they count them.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the podcast, you can share your favorite episodes with some chicken, goose, duck, or turkey-loving friends. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewithchickenladies. Gigantic thank you to our patrons. And the other thing you can do to help support the show is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay!
So, winter is coming.
It's better when Sean Bean says it.
Can you stay on topic for just a minute?
What topic?
Winter. Well, chickens, obviously, and igloo coops from Omelette.
Oh, yeah. You got to have an igloo for winter.
If you don't know igloos, they're engineered for extremes. Double insulated, waterproof, and stormproof.
They keep out any weather and all predators.
And you can just wipe them clean.
My girls and little man are so comfy in their Igloo Pro.
Mine too. Warm and dry all year round.
Winter is coming.
Be ready with an igloo.
Search Omelette. That's OMLET.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like monthly subscriptions?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then yeah. Let us take a minute to tell you about Chicken Love.
You get a monthly Chicken Lady tea, treats for your flock, and a keeper care card.
And did you know with every multi-month subscription, you get a free Chicken Love logo t-shirt?
Really?
Yeah.
It's $36 a month with free shipping.
What are you waiting for? Get off the nest and click already. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. Da, 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 da. Point the toe, don't flex. Point and go. It's time for the Breed Spotlight, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that was ballet music, followed by a kind of mean ballet instructor. Is that what we are?
Well, today's Breed Spotlight is
The Sebastopol Goose.
And it makes me think of Swan Lake.
Well, with good reason, yes. Once you... Well, wait. Were you humming Swan Lake? Is that what that was?
Kind of. But
okay.
I try to refresh myself on it, but I got a short memory, man. So
that's why before we started to record, you said you had to listen to something. Oh my goodness.
You couldn't hear it through the mic?
No, I couldn't hear it. No.
Oh, it would have been so good. I saw
That's
the ballet.
Hilarious. Well, once you have seen a Sebastopol Goose, you will not forget it.
I didn't forget it.
I know. They have lots of nicknames, right? They're called the Swan Lake Goose, the Ballet Goose, the Wedding Dress Goose, the Floradora Goose, Goose in a Tutu, Curl Goose, etc.
And let's just say they're the most popular goose of all the gooses.
I mean, they certainly have become super popular. And I think, Instagram and social media has a lot to do with that. Because all you have to do is see photos of them ambling around someone's property and instantly want them.
Now, if I ever were to get a goose, which I'm not, it would be this goose. There's no
I'll make
doubt.
your neighbor, Mr. Chow, happy.
He told me yesterday, as I gave him a dozen eggs, because I always do. I love my neighbor over there. And he was like, oh, thank you so much. You need a goose. I'm like,
Sorry,
tell
Mr.
that
Chow.
to Joe. Tell that to Joe.
Tell that to Joe, right? Now, Sebastopols, if you haven't seen one somehow, they're kind of like silkies or frizzles. They have normal feathers on their heads and necks, but the rest of their feathers have soft quill, again, like a frizzle or a silky.
Yeah, they're going to need protection.
Right. So this causes those feathers to wave and curl all over the place. These beautiful geese are a rare heritage breed, and they are currently in the threatened category of the Livestock Conservation Priority List.
Which is surprising to me, but what we've learned over the road is that they're hard to keep in stock because they're not easy to hatch a ton of. So the availability is, people want them, but the availability is not there, not because people aren't hatching them, but because they're slow to be able to get out there.
Right. There are a bunch of reasons why it's hard to breed them in huge quantities. Most people that you're probably seeing on social media are probably those are probably their pets. They're not necessarily breeding stock.
Right. They're just getting them and then they're rebreeding them as pets. But, they definitely, we know from Metzer, sometimes they have to take a break from selling them so they can restock them
Right. So Metzer is selling Sebastopol ganders this year, but not the Sebastopol geese because they really need to build the numbers up.
Exactly.
Which is great. So on to the history. Now, Sebastopol is a port city on the Black Sea in what is modern-day Ukraine. The Sebastopol geese were developed and bred along the Danube River and down into the Crimean Peninsula. They were first imported to the UK in the 1860s by Frederick Hamilton Temple Blackwood, also known as Lord Dufferin.
I mean, that's a lot to know this man by.
That's a mouthful, right? Lord Dufferin was an Anglo-Irish aristocrat who went on to have actually a really famous career as a diplomat. Among other things, he threw light on the horrors of the Irish potato famine, and he helped to intervene in the huge mess that was 19th century Russia in the Crimean Peninsula, because even then, Russia couldn't keep its paws out of Ukraine.
Can we bring him back to help now?
Right? Lord Dufferin, we need you.
Come back! We need you now.
You're a man of geese, and you're a diplomat. So Lord Dufferin actually is also known for his very funny travel journals. He did a lot of writing for his travels and very funny and popular. He actually went on to become the Governor General of Canada and later Viceroy of India under Queen Victoria.
He was a well-traveled man.
He sure was, with good taste in geese. Now, while he was working in Ukraine and areas along the Black Sea, Lord Dufferin first encountered the Sebastopol geese, and he loved them. They were also known as Danubian geese because they were found in these areas along the Danube River, but here in the U.S., they are almost exclusively known as Sebastopol because it was the port city from which they were exported.
We know this from all the breeds of poultry.
Right, exactly. Now, I did actually do a little digging to see if they have a different name in Ukraine, and I couldn't find anything else, but that doesn't mean there isn't something back in history that I just couldn't uncover.
Did you have a tiny shovel?
In fact, I did. You are cracking yourself up today, man.
The mom jokes are just flowing.
They're just flowing. Now, in both the UK and the US, the Sebastopols very quickly showed up on the poultry show circuit, as you can imagine.
Oh, heck yeah.
In the 1870s, there was an exhibit of Sebastopols at the Crystal Palace in London, and they appeared at shows in New York and other shows throughout New England as well. A couple of sources mention, now this is not going to be a surprise, thinking back to the conversation we just had. A couple of sources mention that the geese imported to the U.S. had issues with low fertility.
Shocker.
And at least one U.S. breeder crossed his Sebastopols with Emden geese and then bred the offspring back into the Sebastopols with pretty good success. Emdens are a white goose from Germany originally, so it seems to have worked pretty well. The Sebastopols have always been considered a rare breed here in the U.S., and they were accepted into the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection in 1938 in the medium goose class.
They're medium, but they always seem bigger to me. I don't know what
I think it's all those flowy feathers.
It's a tutu. It's a tutu goose. So even though we're talking about them looking bigger, they are a lighter class of goose. We think it's all the feathers that are around that tutu making them. Now they come in weighing the ganders about 12 to 14 pounds and the geese weighing in around 10 to 12. So the females are only just a little bit smaller than the males. Most of the Sebastopols are white, though you can occasionally find them in gray and buff. Every one that I've ever seen is white, I feel like.
I've seen them in buff. I have seen some gray. I've also seen some buff that had some white on them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're beautiful.
They are.
They have the orange, pinkish kind of bills and dark orange legs, and their eyes are blue like the ocean. They're beautiful. So they are really a cool looking goose. Like I said, if I ever were to get geese, which I'm not, this would be the goose I would get.
I would happily add them to my goose flock. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. I'm surprised you didn't get them anyway, but they're a little bit less in the laying, and I think that's what you were going for.
Yeah, I definitely wanted eggs, yeah.
Yeah. Sebastopol geese are fairly good layers, though. They're not as good as the ones you have, but they're not terrible.
They're not terrible. They're probably, they're actually a little bit better than my buffs, but they're not as good as Mirabelle, the French Toulouse. One of the reasons I didn't get them last year is because they were scarce.
Oh, yeah, that too. You tried, I believe you tried to get them. So they're going to lay you about 30 to 50 white eggs per year. We were talking about this the other day, the goose laying schedule. They're going to lay them all kind of in a season, and then you're going to be done. So
usually
you really...
by April, May at the latest, you're finished, yeah.
Exactly. So goose eggs are huge. And now Holly Ann does know they're equivalent of about 3 chicken eggs, give or take. Those little chicken eggs, probably 4.
Right.
Now, they do need especially sized cartons for those eggs, and you can check on Etsy. They have lots of different ones that you can choose from. Now, we were talking about this earlier. Metzer Farms does note that the Sebastopols can be challenging to breed. This is why it's hard to get them, even though everybody wants them. They often have low fertility, especially later in the breeding season. So it's not that they're not available. It's that there are problems sometimes getting high numbers of them bred to sell.
They're very popular, and then they have this fertility issue. And the fact that this was going on in the 1800s as well as the 2020s tells me that this is probably something to do with their genetics.
But it does also tell you on the other note that even though they have this going on, genetically, they're strong because they have stood the test of time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just a matter of being patient and getting through. And maybe you would go someplace else that somebody has pet stock or something that they're breeding their own.
Right.
If you want to get them and you can't get them through the hatcheries at this point.
I think you can get hatching eggs, but it's the same old problem with that.
You're going to get boys.
We'll get some ganders. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So they are known to be one of the calmer, quieter breeds of geese. So that's another reason why they're super popular.
Yeah. I've even seen some keepers describe them as shy. I can see that. Like we said, they sell out quickly every spring. But this is the other thing you need to know. It is not cheap to get geese. These geese will cost you at least a couple of $100s per goose.
But they live 20 plus years. So it's a trade-off.
Right. Yeah, and that's worth mentioning as well, because geese are a commitment.
Oh, heck yeah. They're a 20 plus year commitment.
And they bond with you, and geese are for the long haul. If you're going to get them and have a good foundation for them, just be prepared for it to be a long relationship.
Yeah, you have to be in it to stay in it and not pass them off to somebody else, because they're going to bond and imprint on the person they're with in the beginning. And then it's going to be super hard for them later. So be committed. Know that it's a long, long time you're going to have these birds.
Sebastopol usually, I say usually, because I'm sure there are exceptions, but they're usually not bred to be a table bird. They're smaller bodied, they're fancy birds. They're most popular as pets and show birds, as we've said. Their feathers are sometimes used as a source of goose down, even though the down, you can get down from pretty much any goose breed.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be theirs. While most geese are quite cold hardy, the Sebastopol does require shelter, especially from wind and wet weather, the same way that frizzles and silkies do.
I was going to say, think of them as your fancy breeds, and usually the fancy breeds need extra help. Silkies, Polish, Hootans, all those that are light-bodied with light feathers, they're going to need some extra help.
They do have some weatherproof feathers on them, but it's not like if you look at the Buffs or the Toulouse, when they get wet, they're sleek. They're sleek and waterproof.
Yeah.
But these guys can't because they don't have the feathers to do that.
That tutu, it's not. So you definitely need to keep them. Now, because they lack hard quills and those feather barbels, they cannot fly. And because they are generally bright white, they will need safeguarding against predators. That's almost a given.
Absolutely. Plus, I mean, geese aren't fast land animals. I mean, sometimes they move surprisingly fast if I'm, say, filling a pool up, but it's not like the way a chicken can run.
I'm going to see how fast they move when I come to your house, because I think they're going to move pretty fast. They're going to be like, Aunt Chrissy's here. Go get her.
Go get her. Now, they love water just like every other goose, but the Sebastopols do need large amounts of water that they can get into because they need to preen and make themselves as waterproof as possible, which involves using the oil from their preen gland and putting it on all of those long curly feathers.
Oh boy, what fun. That's hours of grooming time.
They are really divas about their appearance. They spend a long time grooming and they need the water for it.
I bet.
These birds make excellent pets if you're prepared to supply them with plenty of water, good grazing, and all of the other things needed for happy, healthy geese.
Oh yeah. And the commitment is number one. You have to know it's not like just 2 years. It's 20 plus. So be ready for that. And then here's the big question we've been talking about, where to get them all along. McMurray and Metzer Farms. That is the place to go.
Right. No females this year.
Right.
But you can get ganders. Like if you have your own breeding program and you want to introduce a Sebastopol male into your breeding program, you can get ganders. Or if you just want them for pets or for guarding, get you some gander. They're beautiful.
Did you get that reel I believe I sent you this morning that showed the lady that said her gander? It's a dodo video.
Okay.
Holly and I, as much as we talk, we work together. We're business partners. We're best friends of 42 years. We also reel blast each other every day. So this morning I saw one where this woman said that her goose, her gander, is like her husband, and he waits for her everywhere he goes.
Oh.
And like no one can come up to him, and she'll sleep on the grass and he just guards her. When there's a bonfire, he gets in between her and the fire to protect her.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so cute. It was like, get yourself a gander. I mean, you won't get eggs, but you'll have a companion.
You will. They're just if you want a pet, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with a gander. They're just the sweetest birds. They're very sensitive. So you have to be like, you can't yell at your geese. You'll upset them. But they love you like no other bird.
Love you like no other bird. Woo!
Woo.
Okay, so on that note, if you have this, oh wait, Holly's giving her finger up. She has something else to say here.
You're jumping the gun. What I wanted to say is if you want to get female Sebastopols for 2026, you want to pre-order this fall.
Pre-order now, baby.
You can't pre-order now. But when pre-orders open in the fall, get yourself on there for 2026 Sebastopols.
Get yourself up on there. That's what she said.
Oh, dear God.
I'm in a singing mood today. This is not good.
Do that.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera US.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today. Roosty's proudly sponsors Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. They're back with an innovative new product. You're going to want to check this out.
It's an extra large set, a 14-pound feeder and 3-gallon water with steep anti-roost lids. They're made of super durable material. You can either stand them on legs or hang them on brackets on your coop or fence. They're easy to remove and clean too. Plus, they look awesome.
We personally use Roosties and we're huge fans. So if you're raising chicks or keeping chickens, check out the Roosty store on Amazon or follow the link in our show notes. Hey, chicken lovers, listen up. Are you getting ready to bring home baby chicks? Start them off strong with Nutrena Nature-Wise Chick Starter Grower. Packed with balanced protein, this all-in-one feed has everything they need to grow into healthy, happy hens. Head over to NutrenaWorld.com or click the link in our show notes to learn more and find Nature-Wise feed near you so you can help your baby chicks grow by peeps and bounds. Are you ready to move on to main topic? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, our guest today for our main topic is Holly Ann Callahan.
And Chrissy DiCarlo. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Yay. You got us today. And we wanted to talk about something that's pretty relevant and pretty important that's going on right now. And that is getting your chicks shipped and how they can be stressed, what signs to look for, and what things you can do to help them.
Right. Now, we've been hearing a lot lately from folks who they go to one of the farm supply stores. I haven't heard this from the mill because the mill is meticulous about this, but I've heard this at
From other bigger places.
The big two, right? So people will go in and they'll buy chicks and then they'll take them home and the chicks are dead in 24 hours. This is most likely because the store did not give these chicks hours to recover. Like when the mill gets birds in, they put them in, they dip beaks, they give food, they give water, they get them warm, and they will not sell those birds for at least a couple of hours.
Until 2:00. So they get them in the morning and then they sell them at 2 p.m. and they let them rehydrate. And they take out the ones that look like they might be having some trouble.
So they're not on the store floor. Put them in a heat source elsewhere.
Right.
And don't offer them for sale right away. This is not always happening in the big stores. So what we're about to talk about applies if you get your own chicks in the mail and they're stressed when they arrive. It does happen. Also, if you buy chicks at one of the big stores, it's not a bad idea to have these things in place just in case you start to notice some, like a chick who's quiet or failure to thrive or something like that.
Right. Let's start off with, we talked about this last week in our chick chats with the mill. Having that heat lamp and the brooder plates on at least about a day in advance to warm up that area that you're going to put them in when you get home. So when you just turn it on and then you put them in, it's not warming the area up properly unless it's been on for at least a few hours. So having it pre-warm is really good because once they go in there, they can feel like, they're doing that. Now, chicks that are upset can do one of two things, right? They can be super loud or super quiet.
Right.
So you're going to look for, once you show them food and water, what they're doing. And you really have to be able, once you get them home, to spend the first few hours kind of with them, watching them, not just putting them in a box and walking away, because that's how these things can happen. You have to catch them super early.
Also, someone came to us with this last year where her husband had gone to Tractor Supply and gotten some chicks, and then he did other errands before he brought the chicks home.
No.
And those chicks were not in good shape. Get your chicks from the store, last stop, home, straight to the heat source.
So I'm going to tell you a quick little, Holly already knows that she lived this, but a story before we move on of that kind of thing. So our chicks come to us from McMurray Hatchery and they go to Holly Ann's house first. And Holly gets them from the post office and keeps them for the first few hours and makes sure that, they're eating, drinking, they're warm. And then the girls and I come up and pick them up in the afternoon because we have a 50-minute ride between our houses. we basically have the car at 85 degrees and like the windows are like getting all fogged up. We're like down to like our bra and pants in the like driving home. Like by the time we get home, you're like opening the door to run out. So
it's a little tropical.
It's very tropical in the car. It's not a good idea to run any errands because they have to have a constant temperature of 90 plus, 95 plus.
You can't run in the grocery store if you strip down to your bra.
No, and people don't want to see that either. So
don't want to see that.
A bra popping, a chick coming out your bra, like here we go.
My God.
So yeah, get your chicks and go directly home to your pre-warm brooder and watch. Watching the chicks is very, very important to see what they're doing.
Right. Make note of anyone who seems a little extra sleepy.
Yes.
Keep an eye on the smallest ones, although that doesn't necessarily correlate to anything because our Andalusians were tiny little balls of fire.
They were.
So keep an eye on anyone who's not eating and drinking a lot, anyone who's quiet, anyone who's peeping loudly. Just watch them for a while and see what they do.
Now, first day, they are going to eat a lot because keep in mind, they haven't eaten since they ate the yolk from inside the egg, basically. So they're hungry and you're going to have to show them the food and water. So watch all the activity and make sure. Now, you notice something. Somebody's kind of off in a corner and quiet or not around the food and water. The next thing is, what do I do to help this chick? They're tiny, but there are things that you can do.
Right. Now, if cold is the issue, number one, having that brooder preheated. And when we know we're getting chicks, at least so the night before we're expecting the chicks, I've got everything set up, ready to go, and the heat on.
Me too.
Pete is also invested in those really nice little temperature guns where you can just press the button and it gives you readings.
Right.
Those are fantastic to make sure your heat is where it needs to be, which is about 95 degrees. If you're at 95 degrees and you have a chick that's either like looking lethargic, like sitting there with its eyes closed or peeping loudly, even when it's right under the heat, you might need to give them a little extra heat. And this is one of the reasons we do still use heat lamps because brooder plates do not get as warm as heat lamps.
If you're in a non-heated area, you need a heat lamp.
Absolutely. Like if you are an unheated garage, unheated basement, unheated barn, if you're in the house, it's usually better, but you can still have chilling. So one of the things that we have found that works really well, and we did this with one of our Egyptian Fayumis, because if you pick them up, their feet are often cold.
Right. You can tell their body temperature a little bit by feeling their feet. Their feet should be feeling a little warm. They should not be feeling cold. If they're feeling cold, then that's a chance that the whole body is chilled.
So what you can do is you can line a bowl or a box. Make sure the sides are high enough in case this chick decides to jump. Truffle was a champion jumper as a baby.
Oh, yes, she was.
And then you're going to take a blow dryer. You're going to keep your hand next to the chick and very gently waft the blow dryer on low over that chick. And the reason you have your hand in there is you need to make sure it doesn't get too hot for her.
Exactly.
And I think Pete spent about 20 minutes blow drying Delilah before she could go back in with the others, but it works really well for chilled babies.
So that is what you're going to do immediately. And then after that, you want to make sure you have vitamins available to give the chick because sometimes they can't regulate their body temperature because they're dehydrated. They don't have enough vitamins going on. They just took a big trip to get to you through the USPS, through an airplane. And
occasionally there will be a hen. Some of the vitamins are passed, through the egg as the chick absorbs everything. Sometimes you'll get some vitamins where if the hen was deficient, the chick is deficient.
Exactly. So here are the things you need to keep on hand. And that is one, Nutri-Drench. You can give one tiny drop to that chick and it's going to help. And the other one is Polyvisol. Polyvisol is something you should look for before you get any chicks and always have in your cabinet before you get them. Because when you want it, it'll be harder to find. And sometimes you have to order it on Amazon. So get it beforehand. Trust us. You may need it. Polyvisol is an infant vitamin for babies, and you want it with no iron. And you can give them just a drop or two, and it's really concentrated. So it's going to help them also that way.
You want it without iron.
Yeah.
And it is sold in the human infant section of most stores.
Exactly. And it used to be made by Infamel, but now I think it still is, but I think you can get generic ones.
I think you can get generics. I think Amazon carries a generic. Now, we swear by Nutri-Drench, and you can also put drops of Nutri-Drench in the baby's general water.
Exactly.
Nutri-Drench has electrolytes and wonderful things like that. One of the reasons we love it is because it's absorbed straight out of the crop. Like
Right.
the baby doesn't even have to get it down into their digestive system.
Right, exactly.
And as many vitamins and nutrients as Nutri-Drench has, Polyvisol has more.
Exactly. So here's the other thing. Probiotics and electrolytes. Packages of those you can get at your farm supply store. Save a Chick makes the ones. Now, Strong Animal Chicken Essentials makes a thing called Chick Elixir that we love. We absolutely love. We put that in the water, and that is, you get it through Strong Animal Chicken Essentials. I don't think TSC carries the Chick Elixir. They do carry the Chicken Elixir.
Right.
But the chick stuff, you need to order the kit first. That's an excellent thing to have on hand because you put it right in the water and they're drinking it.
Right.
The other thing that can cause them not to be feeling well is if they have pasty butt and they can't poop.
Now, pasty butt, a lot of times people will say, and there are various causes for it, actually. Pasty butt can be the direct result of just shipping stress.
Right.
But pasty butt can also result from temperatures being too high or too low for that baby.
Yep.
A lot of times you'll see people saying that like there's only one or two causes of pasty butt, but pasty butt can be caused by like a variety of things that just get the baby's systems out of alignment. So if you're dealing with a chilled chick, you definitely want to have quick oats, just like basic, generic or Quaker quick oats on hand. I don't
crush them even more. You can use old fashioned, but you really got to crush them even more. You just have to make them super fine and little because their beaks are so tiny. And that helps give them more fiber and it helps the poop firm up so it can come out and not stick to their little hiney.
Yeah, it works really well. I mean, I don't even remember. Some old timer told me about it years ago and I swear by it. I always have it on hand for the babies. Plus, it's a nice little treat for them. They love it.
They do love it. They do love it. I mean, these are just the initial things like that you're going to want to do. There are other things that you can do. There's powder to liquid food you can feed them. All those things. We talk about it all over the place about what to have in your chick first aid kit. But this is initially if they're stressed and they come to you, you want to give them a lot of extra TLC that first 24 to 48 hours because you want them to make it. So putting them just in the brooder and walking away, you will potentially lose some. You have to watch them.
Hypothermia is responsible for a surprising number of chick deaths. We have an article that goes along with this. And when we first wrote it, I feel like it was when brooder plates were at their most popular, but people didn't understand that they don't always get warm enough in unheated spaces to keep your babies alive.
That's why we do the tag team both until they're, 4 or 5 weeks, and you can take that heat lamp out and just use a brooder plate at that point. Mm-hmm. So those are the types
you can have both of them in there the whole time.
Yeah.
You can take the heat lamp off. You can leave the heat lamp the whole time. It's endless variations. You just want to be checking your temperature every week and making sure it's still in the right area for them.
Exactly. So every week you would raise the heat lamp to make it less heat on them. So you can go to our website to find the article that we wrote that goes along with this and writing all the things that you need to do if you have a stressed chick. But these things can happen and they're real. So just be prepared. And then you can help that chick way better than, okay, something's wrong. Now I got to figure out what to do. So before the chicks come there, make sure you read and know that you have the things that you need.
Delilah's still going strong.
She is. She is.
Our friends at Good Eggs solved the age-old question of how should I wash my eggs?
They're chicken people just like us who created the original silicone egg scrubber.
Both Chrissy and I use their brush and natural enzyme wash every time.
It's a total game changer.
It makes cleaning eggs so much faster and easier, plus they have a lifetime guarantee.
Good Egg is a small family business right here in the U.S., and they donate 10% of all profit directly to folks affected by cancer.
Go check them out at goodeggstuff.co.
That's goodeggstuff.co. Tell them Chrisie&Holly sent you. Okay, so are we ready to move on to
cracking the eggs?
Cracking those eggs. Now, we're staying with the Irish egg theme because it's still March.
So our last recipe for March, and this is a good one, is Irish potato cakes. These are savory cakes.
Yummy.
And you make them with leftover mashed potatoes, but if I want to make them and I don't have leftover mashed potatoes, I just whip up the appropriate amount of instant mashed potatoes.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Exactly. So
Why not?
one of the nights that we did the chick talks for the mill, we got home really late and I ate dinner and I made a bowl of instant mashed potatoes and threw some veg in there. And then the next night I was like, I don't want this. So I thought, wait, I can make potato cakes.
Wait.
That could be a good song. I
Yeah.
can make potato cakes.
I like that. I like that. Okay, so let's go on to what you're going to need to make these Irish potato cakes. You're going to need 2 cups of leftover mashed potatoes, cold. Now, instant works great for this. Don't be afraid of those instant mashed potatoes on a weeknight. It's okay.
They're a tool. They work.
Yes. A half a cup of flour or gluten-free flour 1-to-1, a half a teaspoon of salt, an eighth of a teaspoon. Is that an eighth?
That's an eighth, yeah.
It's so small, I can barely read my paper. An eighth of a teaspoon of white pepper, because Holly Ann loves herself some white pepper. Let's just say that.
I like it.
I do. 1 egg, which right now you can make a lot of these because you got a lot of eggs.
Yes.
1 tablespoon of chives or other savory herbs. We know that chives go with mashed potatoes really well, and you're going to chop those. 1 teaspoon of dehydrated onions minced. And hey, if it's late night, you don't want to have to chop those onions. Instead, you don't have to put the herbs in. You can put the dehydrated onions in. One or the other or both.
Well, I have a really nice patch of chives, but they were, when we did this recipe, they were like 2 inches high and I just didn't want to cut them yet. So I just did the dehydrated minced onions and it worked just fine. It was fine.
Now, if you're my mother, you put onions on everything and you put a lot of onions. So it's onions and the herbs at that point for her. And then you need butter, oil for pan frying.
You're going to combine those cold potatoes, flour, salt, and pepper in a small mixing bowl. You're going to lightly mix with a spoon. And by lightly mix with a spoon, I mean like you're going to get some air into them. Stir them up so there's some air in them. Make a well in the center. You're going to add your egg and you're going to mix that thoroughly into the potato mixture. Once you have the egg all the way mixed in, then you can put in the chives or onion or whatever else. If your batter is too wet or too dry, you can sprinkle some more flour or water, if that's what you need, by the tablespoon as needed. Like mine was a little too dry, so I put 2 more tablespoons of water into it to get the right consistency. You want to form it into patties. Usually this makes 4 to 5 patties, decent sized. Like you said, you're going to grease or butter that skillet. You're going to put it over medium-low heat. Put your patties into the skillet. You're going to cook them until they're golden brown on each side, which is usually about 7 or 8 minutes. Remove them from the pan. You can serve them with butter. You can serve them with extra chives, sprinkle with parsley or other herbs. I actually served them with steamed broccoli and scrambled goose eggs, and it was delicious.
It sounds delicious. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
So try it. You might like it. And it only takes 1 egg, so it doesn't take a lot of your eggs. And it's quick and easy. And it's something different. And that's what we're always looking for these egg recipes is something different. Let us know if you try it. Send us pictures. We want to see them. Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy, we got a shout out from somebody named Hank. Okay. And Hank, he's an entrepreneur out there, and we want to showcase him because Hank's been doing some good stuff out there, and he's been working. It's called Hank's Homestead Coop Cleaning Service. So if you don't want to clean your coop and you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, you got a person in Hank. He's going to come out and clean your coops for you.
No, he's been doing this for a couple of years to great reviews.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So he's, I believe, 20. And he's Sophia's age, and he's been doing this since he was about 13 and making money. So if you don't like to get all dirty cleaning the coops and you're in San Fran, check out Hank. I mean, seriously, you can go to his Instagram. He has an Instagram. It's Hank's Homestead Coop Cleaning Service.
I'll link that in the show notes just in case you forget that. But way to go, Hank. Keep it up. We love it.
Yeah, keep doing it. Okay, so should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are spotlighting, it's an oldie but a goodie, an American classic, the Wyandotte.
Oh, yeah. It's beloved in the U.S.
main topic, we're our own guests again. And we're going to be talking a little bit of homesteading stuff here. And we're going to be talking about using your pet chickens for food security. It's going to be a fun conversation.
It is. And we love being our own guests sometimes.
We do. we always know how to answer the questions. Okay, so April, cracking the eggs. We are doing brunch dishes, like Easter dishes for this month.
Fun. It's Easter month. Yeah.
And this looks so good. I cannot wait to make it. Bananas Foster French toast.
I had it in Mexico.
Oh.
It's good. It's good. Okay.
Retail therapy is the beautiful painted eggs by Fable and Forest.
Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. You're going to want these eggs when you look at them.
Gorgeous, gorgeous things.
Okay, so what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens, ducks, geese, and turkeys.
Every day and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thanks for listening.